Seated nice and tall on your sit bones, just tip your pelvis back, hollowing out your belly, finding that nice C curve, and then sitting up tall on your sit bones. We're going to sit up straight, hollow out the belly, up straight, hollow. Take an inhale, grow tall, exhale, scoot back. Hold it back, little pulses, trying to keep your feet planted in place. Keep pulling the belly button to the spine. Little short exhales as you pulse deeper into this abdominal engagement, this deep C curve position. Belly button to spine. Hold that scooped out C curve. Take the arms up with an inhale. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale down. Long arms reaching overhead. Belly button to spine, keeping that rounded C curve with your spine. Hold the arms overhead. Add those pulses back in. Little short exhale as you deepen the abdominal engagement. Sit all the way up straight. Hold on to the backs of your thighs. Fix your posture. If you have paper plates, we can add on. If you have hardwood floors, your feet might slip okay on hardwood floors if you're wearing socks. Just like we started, keep your feet planted on the plates for now. Sitting up tall, rounding down C curve. Adding those pulses back in. Trying not to let the feet slide. Now adding in the feet. Oops, I had two plates. Push the feet away, slide the legs away, get the lower abdominals. And sitting up in between, pulling the knees towards the chest. Belly button to spine, scooping out the belly. Lower abs working as the legs get away from you. Hold that C curve. Just little pulses, pressing the feet away, an inch in, an inch out. Trying to keep the upper body as stable as possible. Get rid of those plates, lay all the way down, stretch the arms overhead, separate the feet. You're in a star position. Crunch up and reach up and across, opposite hand towards the opposite ankle or foot. Lifting your head with each reach, up and over, finding your obliques. Long arm, long leg, bringing that opposite shoulder up and across, up and off the mat. Breathing while you move. Hold it to one side, 10 pulses. Little reach and lower, twisting. Up and over. And other side. Hold that reach, hold that twist. Little reach, little lower, up and down. Lift and twist, reaching towards that ankle. Bring your hands under your hips to support the lower back. Coming into leg lowers, glue the legs together. Try to keep them straight. If you need to, you could do one leg at a time here. Keeping that neutral spine, not allowing the back to arch as the legs get lower towards the floor. Exhale down, inhale, lift. Keep squeezing the legs together. Find those lowest abs, holding the legs as low as you can control for little flutter kicks. Just like you're swimming, reaching through the toes, and hug the knees in. Rock side to side for a little stretch. Arms come out to a T, legs start in a tabletop position, keeping the shoulders planted. Allow the knees to fall from side to side. Twisting in the torso, allowing for that stretch through the lower back, but finding the obliques using the waist to pull the legs back to center. To make this a little more challenging, you can straighten your legs, but remember, we're trying to keep our shoulders planted. Press your hands down into the floor. Inhale over, exhale to center. Bring your hands down beside your hips. Flex your feet, heels to the heavens, pressing your hands into the floor. Lift your hips, lift your butt just a few inches, reaching your feet straight up to the ceiling. Finding those lowest abdominals. Exhale up. Coming down with control, trying not to come crashing down. Little stretch, hug the knees and rock side to side. Bring your hands under your hips. Try to lift your body up into the air. You want your fingertips reaching down towards your buttocks. Suspending your hips in the air, do a nice, slow, and controlled bicycle motion with your legs. Just a pedaling motion. Nice and fluid. Reaching through your toes. Let your legs fall all the way over. If your toes can touch the floor overhead, do so. Separate your feet. Press your hands into the mat. Slowly peel your spine, one vertebra at a time, back down to the floor and circle the legs back in together. Using your arms as you lift your hips up and over, letting your legs fall to the floor behind you overhead. Controlling with your low abdominals as you roll back down onto the floor. This should feel good on your back. You get a nice stretch through the spine, but a lot of work through the core to control and come down slowly. Roll yourself up, reach for your toes. Just a little stretch forward. Roll back down slowly. Swooping your arms to your sides, keeping your legs glued together. Try to sit up into a V-sit, a teaser, reaching fingertips towards your toes. Keeping the legs straight if you can, squeezing the legs together. But bending the knees, sliding the heels in and out if you need a little bit of help. Working towards lifting the upper body and lower body at the same time. Hold if you can now. You could always put your hands down on the floor behind you. Little flutter kicks in that teaser. Bring the hands back under the hips, resting on your elbows, keeping the legs together and straight. Hip circles, drawing circles with your toes. Down and around, inner thighs engaged, and the opposite direction. Squeezing the legs together. And sit nice and tall. Take a forward fold. We're going to come into a side plank. You can stack your feet. You can stagger one in front of the other, or you can bend your bottom knee and rest on that shin. Find what's best for you, but find that side plank. Elbow under your shoulder. Reach the opposite arm up to the ceiling and add little hip lifts, little pulses to carve out that underside. Lifting that top hip up to the ceiling, carving out that bottom of the waist. Bring your hand to your ear, very slowly, very carefully. Rotate tap that elbow to the mat in front of you. Open the chest, elbow back to the ceiling. Rotate, tap the mat. Open the chest. Good, just switch sides. Again, find which foot position works, stacked, staggered, or bent knee. Come up and find that side plank. Hand reaches to the ceiling. Little hip lifts, little pulses. Working the opposite side. Lifting up and away from the floor, up towards the ceiling. Bring that hand to your ear. Carefully, slowly rotate and twist. Elbow taps the mat in front of you. And then open the chest. Elbow to ceiling. Rotate and twist. Come to a kneeling position at the center of your mat. Tip to one side, resting on that hand. Leg is parallel to the floor, just little lifts to the side. You'll feel your hip, your outer thigh, but you're definitely using your oblique to help lift that leg. Think about crunching in that side, right in that waist. Reaching that leg in and out now, using the oblique to bring that knee towards your elbow. Crunch with that side. Using the waist to draw the knee in. Find your balance, reach your arms up to the ceiling, and lift that foot up and down off the mat. Again, a little bit of outer thigh work here, but mostly using that oblique to lift the leg. Touch your waist if that helps you, calling attention to the muscle you're trying to activate. And switch knees. Bring that other hand to the floor, starting with those little lifts, straight leg to the side, using your oblique to help lift that leg, reaching through the toes across the room. And drawing the knee in towards that elbow. Notice how the leg, the thigh, does not stay quite parallel to the floor as it bends in. The knee lifts a little bit higher. I'm reaching up towards the elbow. But trying to keep the upper body pretty stable. Find your balance, arms overhead, balancing on that one leg as you try to lift your foot, that straight leg, up off the floor. Finding that oblique. Crunching that side. Now we'll find a plank position. You might want to double up your mat underneath your knees for this part if your mat isn't super squishy. Mine is, but I'm going to fold it just to show you. Reach one foot out, then the other. Bend one knee in, then the other. You're just walking in and out of a plank to a hands and knees position. Trying to keep your hips steady as that second leg extends. Now hold your plank. Flex and point your feet, kind of a seesaw motion. Reach through the top of your head and back through your heels. This is good for your shoulders, but also for your core. Bring one knee in towards your chest and hold. Switching with your breath. Trying not to let your back arch or round. keeping a nice flat back, hovering the leg above the floor. Put both knees down. Walk your hands out a little bit so your pelvis drops. You find a girl push-up position. You're going to walk your hands out, out, in. They go away, and then the hands come back in underneath the shoulders where you started, trying to minimize the wiggling in the hips and the torso. Reach out, in, and in, belly button to the spine, belly button to the ceiling. You're going to hold the hands out, give it a little tricep bend. The elbows are hugging the waist. They're pointing straight back behind you. They're not pointing out to the sides like a push-up. Elbows hug the body, shoulders down away from the ears, keeping the torso tight. Drop all the way to the forearms. Find that forearm plank and slow jumping jacks. Open, close. Open and close. Feet apart, feet together. Keeping the chest lifted, digging through the elbows and forearms. Drop to your knees and take an extended child's pose, reaching your arms in front of you. Good job.